That means that in the presence of sunlight, a special chemical additive that Bestpak puts in the bag gets triggered into action, and it starts to break down the molecules of the plastic, so that after continued exposure to sunlight and after a prolonged period of time, the plastic actually gets brittle like a dried leaf and will ultimately crumble. And it promises that the trash bag is not going to be a permanent time capsule.
Well, so many of the bags are buried in landfills. How's the sunlight going to break it down?
Well, it takes an adequate amount of sunlight to break it down satisfactorily. There's a threshold amount of sunlight, which is difficult to define because it is related to how much sunlight we get and how warm it is. But after, it could be several weeks. In the middle of the summer and in the middle of the winter, it might be as much as 4 or 5 weeks or 6 weeks. An adequate amount of sunlight is reached, and then it can go into landfill and won't need any more sun and will continue to degrade and decompose. The practice as the potential of using a degradable bag more broadly with plastic trash bags suggests that even in landfill practice, they may leave the bags out a little bit longer before they cover them up. And that, too, could be part of a long-term plan to sort of fit this kind of system into the ecology a little better. Well, I'm not going to say that they'll be there for the King Tuts of the future, but they are virtually permanent when not exposed to sunlight. The molecules that our technology has put together, nature hasn't found a way to take apart. We've got to kind of help her with a mechanism to take them apart.
In your area. If the electric power was shut off during the flood, it is absolutely necessary you do not take chances with possibly contaminated food. Boxed and packaged foods that have been exposed to flood waters should also be thrown away. Even canned foods may have surface contamination on the container, and the risk of infection is too great to take a chance on foods that are suspect. Disinfection is extremely important in your cleanup. Use a disinfectant that you know is effective. Follow directions and add the disinfectant to a bucket of water. Mop the basement floor with this solution, and you'll likely avoid many of the odor problems that occur after a flood. To prevent the growth of mold and mildew, also wipe down the walls with an effective disinfectant solution. If your home has hollow walls, such as gypsum board, you may have to call a contractor to check for water trapped behind the exterior wall. Use the disinfectant in your washing machine to sanitize your laundry that was affected by the flood. By using a disinfectant in your washing machine, you'll be able to cut down on household germs and germs that cause odors. You should be able to salvage your wooden furniture, move all pieces outdoors, and take out as many drawers and slides as possible. Clean away all the mud, then bring the furniture back in and let it dry in the house. Don't leave the furniture in the sun. It will warp and twist out of shape. Brush the outer covering of upholstered furniture, bedding, rugs, and carpets. Leave them in the sun to help prevent the growth of mildew. Upholstered mattresses may have to be thrown away if they have been contaminated by flood waters. Metal should be cleaned immediately, especially items made with iron. Wipe the rust away with a kerosene-soaked cloth, and then coat the metal with oil to prevent further rusting. Copper and brass items can be polished or wiped with salt sprinkled on a piece of lemon. Or you can use a cloth saturated with vinegar. Be sure all cooking and eating utensils are washed and boiled after you treat them.